Okay, hello everyone, and good afternoon. So, it seems I hope you guys don't go too far. Every time you're going back. So I hope everything is going well. Still first week, right? And that's what today. Okay, yes. So the programming course and so it's not just programming, it's system development. I'm sure again all of you are new, almost all of you are new in university, and it should be a big change, right, from high school. Is it? Different environment, different context, different feeling, all of things are different. So please, let us know, let me know. Perhaps you have received something an email about this thing called personal tutor scheme. Have you ever seen that email? Yeah. Perhaps each of you are assigned to one of my colleagues. I know I also have a student that other things are from computer science. So we just actually I was the one who randomly assigned everybody to everybody. So 427 students and 91 academics. Some of those people. 6 to 7 students per faculty member. Okay, so I just want to say that please approach us for any questions. I think it's maybe that I think I sent an email to everybody that please contact a new tutor to set up a meeting just to kind of know each other in person. Or they will also come to you and remind you that set up such meetings during next week or the week after that, so that you can meet with them and they are there just like friends, but of course you may see them like those are not students, but there's also a peer mentor program. So we have peer mentor. Academics are also your mentors, so we just want to help you as much as possible, to enjoy your first year and also the subsequent years. Okay. Any questions about anything? No? Okay. So, yes, it's recording. So, let's get started. Today, just some reminders. Myself and also the co-lecturer of mine, right? Dr. Taisan Main, that's his full name. He was here right 3 days ago. We have office hours, so please come to our office hours if you have any questions. I guess, of course, the course is going to get more technical as we go on. And those hours are in Canvas. We're going to have a look at Canvas today also. My office hours are actually Fridays, so it was this morning, but of course it's okay if you didn't come. Because our course is going to get more materials. And his also is on Wednesdays, and also the locations of our offices are there. Just, it's good that if you come and ask all your technical questions. So lab 1 is next week. If you would like to install this PyCharm, it's optional if you want to install PyCharm, our programming environment that we discussed last time on your laptop. It's optional because I think downstairs in the lab, we have them on the machines. But I know many students also install them on their own machine. You can program on it anytime. Okay. Anytime you want, right? So you can work on it at home or anywhere else. So again, it's up to you to decide to install PyCharm on your machine. So how many people would like to install PyCharm on their machines? Or would like to have done it? How many people have done it? Okay, 2 or 3 people have done it. Okay, it's good that you have taken. You are more proactive in doing things. If you have questions, if there's some. Usually the installation is very straightforward, and I think I mentioned that on Canvas we have a guideline, some simple guideline to do that, to do installation. But you can bring your laptop next week to the Thursday lab to ask us questions with installation. We're going to review the Canvas a little bit and also remind you to automatically check your emails. Okay, so what is So how many of people have looked at Canvas so far? Okay, yeah, okay, I think that's about 70% or something, I hope. Well, of course, it's not, so it's very important that, all the students kind of course, have access to your Canvas. Please make sure you have access to your Canvas, and you can, of course, it's a very good idea that you also have a look at it very regularly. So it's this URL, right? Let me just log out and log in again. We have this logout. I can log out from here. Logout takes a lot of time. Okay, so you just type canvas.qb. You're gonna put your student number. That's my staff number. I'm glad that you don't see my password. Okay, so you just log in. Is there anybody who has not got his or her username password? Okay, everybody has got? Okay, so with just the same username password, you can log into it. So please make sure you do it today or tomorrow. Just start logging into it. So make sure that you see our CS. This course and your other courses should appear there. If they don't appear, if, of course, our own course module does not appear, then please come and see me. Or you can email me. So, yes, so you're just going to click there. We have even, I can see all the people in the, all the users in the course. We have about 79 students. And 14 teachers. Of course, don't be surprised. It doesn't mean that we're going to have 14 teachers for this course. These are, one of them is myself, and then, of course, some other people also have access, and some of the other professors have access to the course, just to check things. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, you have just some general information there. Myself, Dr. Mai, and Maura. Okay. So modules. The most important thing is this module tab. This is the schedule of the course. If you are interested to see the detailed schedule, it's a schedule that myself and my co-lecturer have between us to just arrange things. Yeah, I even made it public to you to see. There's no secret there. This is just, what we are teaching, the week 8, week 9, November, the dates, myself or son. So at some point, he's going to take over from October 29. So something like that. So that's what we are really teaching in each week, and also practical assignments, etc. You can have a look at it if you wish until the end of March or April, year long. So we are now in week 0. So lecture 1, lecture 2. These are the PowerPoints. So the PowerPoints that I'm presenting, all of them are uploaded here. You can have a look at them on your laptop. You can print them. Of course, to save the trees, please print as little as possible. I'm a bit environmentalist, so that's kind of my personal kind of thing. So you can download the PowerPoint. You can just save the link as, and you can download it like that. You can also see it online. That's a good feature of this Canvas system if you wish. So yeah, everything is there to really help you with everything. And as you see, we are doing video recording of lectures with this little free software called OBS. You can also download and use it yourself. It's a free software. Actually, I heard about it a few weeks ago, which is a good one, because I was using commercial software before for video recording, or screen casting. So if you click, so lecture 1, video of lecture 1. So after each class, I'm posting the lecture, just the video that I get on YouTube. So, and the link is here. You can just open it. So yeah, just gonna play. Hopefully, there will be mini Facebook. There will be a mini backlight. It also has sound. So there are 4 topics. There we go. Sometimes the sound quality is not good because I'm far from this little laptop, but it is okay when I. So, yeah, if you want to. So week 2, this is week 1, which is next week. Lecture 4, 5, 6. For lecture 6, we'll also talk about 2 things here. We'll talk about individual project and lab 1. We can also, So for the next week that you come to lab, essentially we will do this lab. We will look at this lab document to actually do it. So this will help us. So you're gonna see. So you're gonna click on the link, lab 1. If you click here, you're gonna just see it large, kind of in a new window. Familiarization with PyCharm and developing simple programs. That will be the first kind of things that you will, because of course, it's very important that you do things in practice, right? Because even the class, well, for now, the class is mostly one directional, which I don't like. I talk and you listen. I like sometimes you talk and I listen. So, of course, for programming and main topics, we just have to do it. We learn it by doing, really. So I'm trying to minimize actually the stuff that, well, my talking really. Even in the lectures, we're going to do some exercises. So I'm going to let you do some things because it's not a good idea that you listen to me for 15 minutes. I completely understand that. Okay, so that's kind of the whole setup. Of course, here you have announcements, discussions, conferences. We're just going to use the assignments. But we'll talk about those when the time comes. I think you can also see your grades there. Enter, but again, whenever those things come, right? Well, we don't have to review everything right now. Okay, any questions? This Canvas system also is fancy. It has mobile apps for iOS, for Android. I even installed it on my own iOS so yesterday. So you have to search for Canvas student on app stores. There's a Canvas teacher, so I downloaded the teacher version. So I can do more, can add and remove things. So actually I was able to, I can now see this our course in a very nice way there. It's up to you. And it's a good idea to install it on your phone as well if you wish. I mean, you're going to see this course and also other courses that you're taking. Right? You're taking this accounting course, I guess? Yeah. Are those the only 2 courses you're taking right now or something else as well?
I think there's another physics one.
Okay. Okay, sure. So I hope you all the best in all of them. Okay. So the emails, right? How many of people are receiving their emails from Queen's email address? Everybody? Okay. Because I have Excel file, I can see your Queen's email and I can see your other Gmail or other email. So we have a spreadsheet that for everybody I can see them. Sometimes I send to both of them, but of course we're not going to send to the personal one anymore. So please, because I'm not saying you folks, but in the past I had students that they said, well, I didn't receive this email because he or she wasn't checking it regularly. So it's very important that you, if you ask me, well, I have, again, it may look obvious, but I have the university email set up like on my, I put the screenshots from my own phone here. So please set it up in a way that actually you see on the app now shows as a red button, right? You receive the message and it shows notification that you have. So then, because really I don't have to check email, well, it will just notify me when there's an email. So it's kind of the mechanism that you don't have to say, well, did I check anything today? So it automatically just, any time of the day I get an email, it's going to show the red box there. You can set it up on your mobile box. That's my friendly advice. It's a very important idea. If I were you, I would set it up on my mobile phone as well. Just to make sure you get it and make sure that you make it, that it gives you a notification. I turn off the sound because I don't like the sound of it, but it shows the red number there. Yeah. So just again, kind of logistical things, but very, very important. Because the main way that for us and all your modules will be that we'll contact you by email and university email. Of course, you can forward your university your email to your Gmail, and some people do that, but it's okay. Okay, so now we start. So last week we talked about a few things. This was the last lecture. Today, I'm going to talk about, okay, going to go kind of more inside Python and put more technology here. Let's see if the technology works here. We're going to learn data types. What's a data type? Type of data. Right. So we're going to, of course, a very fundamental part of programming is to store variables, to store data. For example, I think I gave this example, right? I mean, you have your username, password, you enter it on a website. It's going to log you in. So that username and password are two pieces of data, and they have to be stored somewhere. And we store them in something called variables or data, and they have different types. Like numbers, right? We have numbers, they could be integer, float. We're going to see examples and a few other things. We've also see how we manipulate them. By manipulating, of course, I think the word manipulation in English has a slightly interesting meaning, but in programming means, it doesn't mean that meaning, which is a bit, interesting. In programming, manipulation is a very simple thing. It means assigning values, reading the values from data, and then changing them. So it has nothing to do with, with psychology and other types of manipulation. So when you hear that, just don't get too stressed about it. Okay, so last time we saw this program, which was one of our simple programs. Right? We're going to see it for a while until we know how it works, or discuss concepts on it. So each of these things now are a variable. Number one, number two. Yeah, I think that's my little system that keeps reminding me about something. I will turn it off. Okay. So we have, so these three things are integer. They happen to be integers. So again, I'm not sure to what extent you guys like mathematics or not. In this course, we will use very minimal mathematics. Of course, I think as BIT students, and even you have this business and accounting courses, so you're going to see simple mathematics to some extent almost everywhere. I mean, additions, multiplications, percentage, these things are a part of our life. So in this course, we won't go to too much advanced math, but anyways, so integer means a number that doesn't have a decimal point, right? So 12 just means an integer. If you say 12.5, that's not an integer anymore. It's kind of complete and full numbers. Of course, negative numbers, so we can have negative 10. That's an integer, but negative 10.2, it's not an integer. It's a float, or it's a double. I think in high school, did you guys call it real numbers? Yeah? Real numbers? No. Yeah, when I studied high school, it was called real numbers. But I don't know. It could change by location of where you study. But anyways, integer means just 15, 12, etc. Assignment operator just means that the equal sign. When I say num1 equals 15, I'm storing it. I'm storing 15 to the right. By the way, the side kind of matters. The right-hand side is a value, left-hand side is variable. Let's not do mathematics. Perhaps you're going to see there's a very, perhaps one difference, slightly different than the regular mathematics you have to see. Everything gets assigned from right to left. It's quite simple. You say, this one equals 15, this one equals 12. And we can see lots of examples. So please be sure that we're going to see lots of examples. Okay, now float. So we saw integer. Integer is something that again number. You say num1 equals 15, num2 equals 15. Okay. I can also have a floating point. What is floating point? Of course, it seems like it's going to float, but it's not really. So pi, right? You guys remember pi from high school? Oh, this part. 3.14, and then etc. or something. I can say, well, so of course, things here. Variable names should be precise, okay? So it's up to us to name a variable with any name. You can say my variable equals something. You can say my name equals something. So it's really, because you are free to give any name to a value. But here, because I know this is pi, so I'm going to give it name pi. Of course, I could say just p. I could say pp or whatever. But these are just, may look obvious, but we're going to go forward, and the name of the variables are important in some sense. I'm going to print the content. So when we say print pi, or I can make it more interesting, say print pi equal to, and then the value. So the output will be like this. We're going to run it. But can you continue the rest from the program itself? It's here actually, yes. I hope the size is visible for everybody. If on the, okay, you guys have those screens there as well. But if you want, again, to see it better, please feel free to come more closer. So this is where I give a value to my variable. And of course, I just want to see if it stores it properly. I'm going to print it. Even you can say, what is the type? Now we talk about the type of variables. It's like saying, well, I want to have an integer. So is it an integer? And then if you store a float value or a double value with the dot in middle, will it have a different type? So let's just try things. You can just right click. I'm sure you're gonna. So again, this is the PyCharm environment, and in this course we will use a very minimum features of it. We'll use just we will really just use open save and close, and we will just run things. We won't. And if I were you, please don't choose like use these things because they tend to be. Of course, you can use the run because it's here as well. But there are some other features which are kind of more. I think we can leave them for the next few years. Because I had few students in the past that said, well, this editor has too many menus. Well, just imagine you don't see them. Okay, so if you just print it, it's going to just print the same thing. Of course, you can, I'm not sure if it has these numbers. You can put lots of ones at the end of it. Yeah, it looks very, of course, very huge number. It's going to print it. Of course, it's going to print that somewhere. But anyways. You can say P is equal to, so you can write essentially whatever you want to write here. Kind of the message. You can also click here. So yeah, when you say print type PI, it says, well, it's a class float. So class kind of means type. Class, in programming, usually class means type. Well, again, this is just to show that the Python engine understands. When we say, well, I have a float variable which has a dot, it will understand. But if you say now pi equal to 3, well, in mathematics, pi actually is not equal to 3, but I can try to, try to make it like this and make it like cheat or do it incorrectly. But now, 3 class integer. So it understood that 3 and 3.14 in terms of type, they are different. Just something like this. Okay, now a different example, price. Suppose you want to write a simple system to do this, shopping, right? We use those systems quite a lot, right? So price, suppose the price of few items is 20 or one item is 20. And, well, you need to add the tax, right, the VAT. Well, I'm new in the UK, but I think it's 20%. The VAT is 20% here. I checked last time. So you just say, well, 20% means the total price will be 1.2 times. Am I right? It's on cheating in the mathematics. 1.2 means 20% more of that value. Or you could say, yeah, 0.2 times it plus the same thing, something like that, but it would be like this. And, well, 20, and then that should be like 24, really. You can make it 10 to make it simpler to test it. With this 10, well, 20% will be 2 pounds, and then the total should be 12. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying, well, price of something is 10, and total price is that raw price, or times 1.2. And then if I want to print then, price equals to price, total price. So I'm just, this is the piece of the message now. You can do kind of very interesting stuff. You can say total price of your order is, you can even write sentences here. Total price of your order is 12. You see, it becomes more interesting. Am I going too fast, or everybody is able to follow? Yes? So programming is really nothing to be afraid of. You just say, just like it's a way to, well, we communicate to computer what should be done, and it then asks the computer to do it. When we say run, we say, well, that's my program, go ahead and run it. and it just follows whatever you have done. So we're going to talk about this. I'm sure you have seen programs having faults and errors, right? And that's an interesting discussion because the issue will be, is it the error of computer or is it the error of the persons who wrote the program? Which one do you think is the case? Error of the computer system or error of the people who built it? Sorry? The second case, right? Exactly. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's the case that computers don't make mistakes unless the whole CPU burns, unless the whole system breaks down in the hardware breaks down in a very bad shape. Software and IT systems by themselves, they don't make errors. It's unfortunately the people. Again, it's a bit bitter to admit that, but that's the reality. But we're going to come back to this issue of software quality and quality of systems, because even especially for you guys, because okay, now I can open up a little in parenthesis and tell you about something that I attended on Wednesday. I attended a meetup in city center. It's called Meetup, well, Ministry of Testing. Of course, it doesn't mean the government ministry, but so this testing is software testing. Actually, because I do lots of software testing, kind of also consultation and stuff like that. But so this is kind of an event in Belfast. So I'm just saying that, well, we got together there, it was 6 to 9 p.m. 3 days ago. They have another event coming up on 16th of October. Talk about software testing in a fun, professional, and forward-thinking way. So we talked about these things. So I saw, it's so interesting, I saw some of our BIT graduates. I saw 2 or 3 people who had done their BIT here, and now they work as testers just there. So some of you, I think, will follow that path. Of course, you will work as business analysts. Some of you may work as managers, programmers, developers, and also software testers. So I met 3 people, and actually we had a chat about, I just told them I'm teaching. So you're gonna, so yeah, it's an exciting career, of course, if you decide to choose it. It's a big career. I mean, software testing there are thousands, or not, perhaps there are hundreds of thousands of people doing this job. But anyways, let's go back. So that's what we saw. So we write the program, and we try to be careful, how we write it. The price is 20. Total price equals price times 1. You're saying, well, that's when you would imagine. Let's imagine. Of course, we're gonna make it more interesting, right? And you might say, well, you just say 20, but how can I give it by keyboard? Yeah, of course, we're gonna write the way that the system will ask you the price. So you will say, the system will say, what's the price? You will say 10 and it will calculate for you. Of course, we're gonna make the programs more interactive as we learn. But of course, we have to go by step by step. And then you said, I calculated, here's the original price, and here's the total price, including the yield, including tax. So you can calculate and provide those outputs in any way. Any questions? There is another type called Boolean. Have you heard about this term at all? Okay, yeah. In programming or outside programming world? I don't think in our everyday life do we talk about Boolean. Yeah. Well, by the way, you guys are native English speakers. I'm not. I've been speaking English for many years. I haven't heard people talking about Boolean outside computing. So that's why we can carefully learn it. It just means anything true or false. So for many ways, you can say, for example, the last one, is user logged in? Of course, okay, that's a variable name. It may look too long. Is user logged in? Just a little hint. Of course, we cannot put dashes, but we can put underscores in the variable names, because sometimes you can. And you cannot also put dots in variable names. In variable names, it's just alphabetical stuff, and you can put numbers at the end, but underscore to separate them only. cannot put space. So we can try. I mean, cannot put space. So see, it's gonna complain. But so this environment is very intelligible. Not very, it's slightly intelligent. Let me put it that way. Can't assign to operator. Of course, the messages sometimes are not too helpful. I really don't know what it says. Can't assign to operator. So you're gonna see this kind of error messages. Of course, first of all, please do not panic. Because I've seen students I've seen students that when they see these error messages or the program crashes, it's okay. It's just part of programming. We learn by those things. Not to exaggerate my experience, I have been writing programs since year 92, since high school. I think that's pretty much the times before most of you were born. Just joking. But I mean, how many years is that? It's going to be 30 years soon. And I've lived with, my programs still give these red messages. And it's okay. I mean, we all, sometimes, when we write programs, of course, these things go from simple to complex mistakes. So you see, if you put dash, well, you see, doesn't work. Again, okay. Expression expected, if you put dot, it's not gonna work. If you put anything, just gonna separate them by this. You can put numbers at the end of the variables, but you cannot put numbers in the beginning of a variable. So this is really what we can use in naming a variable, like what characters we can use. But I'm kind of a bit more usually careful about how I name my variable. So is user logged in? That's very clear, right? It's like a question mark. Is he or she logged in? True means that now in my program, I'm in a location where the person has logged in, so I can show him or her the information and a few other things. So imagine, so that's really like the context that we are. It may look too complex, but I even give some examples about, is it raining or is it sunny? Right now it's like almost like sunny. So you can say, is it raining even, or you say, is raining or is sunny? And you can print them. So I'm printing is raining, it's false. Even I can print is sunny. You can say print, well, sorry, I'm doing copy and paste. I'm going to try to do less of that because most of my work is by copy and paste. Makes it fast, but of course we can make mistakes. I'm just going to push myself to write, not to copy and paste. You see, this environment has a bit kind of, it tries to help you. If you open the parentheses, it pulls the closing parentheses as well. It has a small amount of intelligence to help you in the editing, in the writing, the program writing phase. Now it says what it expects. It says values, you see. It even hints you by this little box what it expects you to provide. I want to print is sunny. See, even if, when I type is, it even suggests me with this kind of, so it has this auto hint feature just like Google or many other systems that we use. It hints to you, so you can just say, I'm in this one, I'm in this one, and enter. It's kind of, it tries to suggest to us, so it's kind of helpful, to be honest. Well, so I'm printing is rainy or is sunny, and you can run it again. Yeah, false. I mean, this false was the first one. So everything goes by order, right? So first I was printing is raining because it's raining equal to false. Of course, I'm not doing anything useful here. You might say, well, what are you doing? We are not doing too much of a useful thing here, but we're just demonstrating how we assign variables and how we print something. Well, how print with their, I should look at the side as well. How we print their contents, what is inside the variable. And type. We won't use this type function, by the way. If you say something parentheses, that will be a function. So the print is a function. Again, I realize that this term, you're learning many new terms this week and next week. You're going to learn variable, function. These things will be with us for the rest of our programming life. Function means if you just say print something. So this is a variable, this is a function I want to use. So function means a feature that Python has and we can use. You say, well, I want to print, or I want to show the value on the screen, so I use the print function, or print feature. But it's more technical, this function. Type just tells you the type of things. We won't use type too much. It's just for to show that it says, you see, it's class Boolean, or bool, short for Boolean. So, okay. And this one, I just make it equal to true. Actually, I'm not using it anywhere. I'm not even printing it. I just want to show that you can say different things. Any questions? All right. Let's see how many slides. We're 9, and it's 20 in total. Okay. Okay. Characters. Of course. You say that person has a good character again. So this character is different than that one. Character means anything on your keyboard. That's the picture of a keyboard. Anything that we can press on this keyboard, or even sometime some of you may write mobile apps, so even on a touch screen keyboard. Actually, my little device is touch screen, so yeah, I can even touch it by kind of. So this laptop also is touch screen. Okay, so character means any single keystroke on a computing system. That's one character. Even if the function keys, even the escape key, even the page down, page up, home. So anything, not just alphabet, but inter-character, shift, control function, anything that you see on this bar or this little keyboard. So that's character. Backslash, delete character, insert, so anything. So what I have in my program is come this way. So here I have a code. I'm saying CS, but the name I choose for the character equals A. Of course, we know that variable name can be anything. It's our choice. You can type any name. I'm going to print CH. I'm going to show its type. Print its type. CH2 equals 5. So 5 is now here. As you see, I can put 5 inside double quote or not inside double quote. Let me come back here. Most people it's closer to you. Of course, we have some folks on those. Anyways, so I can put, we're going to talk about that 5 thing. So I can print what is stored inside the character. So you print it, A, it's going to print A. When I say print character, it's going to say it's a string. So str means a string. And I even don't know if in our daily life we use a string, but the string in computers doesn't mean the string that we pull. It means this, well, in computing, the string means several characters together, or even one character. So each of our names, so any text, right? So any text is a string, right? Learning Development Center, if you write this as a kind of, is a string. So any text, any one character or more characters, even a space. If you put 2 spaces together, it's a string. Well, you won't see a space, but it is an empty space. We can try that. So that was, characters. I was talking about this space, right? A and lots of space and B. I'm going to run it. You see, A, lots of space, B. So it understands, well, space is a space. Here dot 5 6 L. So this is kind of any text, right? You can do interesting things. You can take this string and put it inside there. You print it, it's just going to print that message. So anything that you put inside double quote would be a string. But each of those little things would be a character. If you put 5 inside the double quote, it says characteristic. It's not an integer. So if you put 5 like alone, then it is an integer. It may look a bit confusing, but it is like that. We're going to practice on these things. So 5 inside the string notation is a string. Of course, if you print this, you're going to see 5, but it's a string, you see? Okay, I'm just gonna bring it down. So you see, that one says 5 string, and then the other one, I, which I call I, that's a 5, that's an integer. If you compare this value to this value, they are not equal in terms of value, because one is inside this and one is like not inside. I don't want to confuse you. It's like just being precise. Again, we're going to see lots of hundreds of examples on this, so it's kind of just the beginning. Well, a string itself, because character is a string that has only one character. A string is just a sequence of characters, like our names. String 1, I'm a string. String 2, I'm a string 2. That's my full name. It could be a user full name. If you run it, you're going to actually just see them being printed. Okay? Now the issue of one code and double code. As far as language syntax is concerned, like Python syntax, there is no difference. So you can use either of them. You see, 2 codes, 1 code, no difference. Any questions? Okay. Yes, this is the first ever exercise for you. So now it will be your turn to do something. If possible, please take a pen and paper. And we will do all these things, and I want the students to do them on pen, not by computer. Yes, we're going to have some of these things almost in every lecture from now on, at least 1 or 2 of them. Very short, but we're going to get you going. So please read it, and the short explanation. Storing your first name and last name in a separate string variable and then printing like a message like this. I know, yes, if you have a slide, you can refer back to them. So that's the thing that some of you brought laptop. The previous slides, because the stuff are in the previous. I don't know how to delete them for you at this time, but it's hard. I know if you don't see them, how to remember what we learned. But well, I could bring back the slides and go 3 slides back or 2 slides back, but it's going to be kind of. All right. So if you remember what we need to do now, I can go back to see, So you can use this knowledge to print the next one, to solve what our little exercise. Yeah, please feel free to talk to each other. Not the exam, obviously. Doing together. Conversation is very good in class. You're supposed to. Just gonna take the next slide to see what we need to supposed to do. Write a simple program to store our first name and last name each in a separate string, and then print a message like that. Once you have seen that, yes, you're going to use this kind of, that's how we define a string. You say a value equals a string, print that, and then you can define the string, and so try to build it. Okay, we can do it together now. It's okay, I think maybe it's slightly challenging, but it's well, I never intend to make things challenging, so well, it will be like this. Yeah, I wanted to actually have it empty and write it for you, but I kind of wrote it a few hours ago before coming here. So I want to have, okay, you want to erase it and write together? Okay, let's write it together. Nothing. So, again, what is this asking us? It's asking us to store my first name and last name in separate strings. You can say first name like this equals, what's your name, first name? Well, I had a friend, his name was Mike Smith. You can use his name. I think he was from Scotland, but he was living in Canada. So, very good friend of mine. Last name. As you see, yeah. So, of course, they are going line by line. You cannot put them together in one line. Like, that's, of course, the things that we're going to learn. Smith. Right, you can put your own names there, of course. Print. You say print, it expects you to give some. There you see value. It says, what do you want me to print? On the screen. And print means show on the screen, really. There's nothing about printer and paper here. Everybody's following? Yes? Well, I can see, if I say if, see, I go just FIR, it suggests, it says you have a variable with this name. Why don't you just choose it? Like that. Okay? Well, I don't have the last name, but you can, okay. And it's a very good habit to write a bit of program and then run it and to see. You don't have to finish everything and run it. Many professional developers, myself, and millions of people do it like that. You just write a bit, run it. Write a little bit more, you run it again. Because it's not just a click of a button, really. You don't have to, if it even fails, well, nobody is going to punish us. Just run it. Cool. First name is Mike, last name is Smith, and I'm printing the first name, so I'm just going to see Mike. Well, that's just the first name. In front of print, you can put commas. You can say first name and last name. Okay. Mike. And it actually automatically puts a space in between them. It may not look too obvious, but later we're going to look at that space and say, well, do I need more space between them? Because we're going to play with these spaces and other things. Everything is going to get more precise. Okay, but we have to give a welcome message. Welcome to the system, Mr. or Mrs. Because, right, we want to write, for example, a mobile app or a web application that, you know, you log into your bank application and says, welcome, Mrs. something. Just feels more personal and kind of more interactive. Welcome to the system, was it? Yeah. Okay, so in front of print statement, I can put as many things as I want. Not just, you can say print one thing, 2 things, or print 5 things. It may look a bit too crowded here, but I'm going to just add that. So see, comma, bracket, bracket, or double quote, comma. I'm going to write that message here. I can, well, it's not done yet. I'm going to run it. You see, it put a little space there. I don't like to put the welcome. I put these dashes. It prints me dashes. Whatever really you say is going to do that. If you just print, you know, unmeaningful stuff, it's just going to. So you say, welcome to the system. You can put, see, if I make a spelling mistake, it's not going to understand it. For system, I put istem. It doesn't fix it really here. So the mistake, whatever, well, this is a small mistake. If you make a small or big mistake, the computer will not understand it, unfortunately. Well, but of course, some mistakes it understands. Of course, I shouldn't be that unfair. If you say, see, Okay, suppose I want to say first name, but it was first name, and I by mistake I put another E. Well, it says unresolved reference. It means, well, it says you have a variable, but you have not defined it. I hope it doesn't come across as being too complex. It just is like we have to define something, and then we use it afterwards. If you don't define something, you're going to use it. It's like you haven't defined it. Define means just having the variable name equal something. Putting a value in that exact variable name. Well, if by mistake I put this first name with E, it's okay, you see, everybody's happy. Well, it's going to run. It actually puts on the score here. Typo. Okay, now it puts this green. Actually, it's a new feature. I think you guys are very lucky because you live in the modern ages. When I learned programming, these environments wouldn't even give a message for a spelling check. Now, it even tries to find out your dictionary type. But of course, it's not a red message. It won't stop the program from running. It's just, yeah. But it can also make some mistakes in the writing here. It also kind of, yeah, typo. But it's kind of, well, it's kind of, it's a mic with lots of E's. So, there we go. See, Control Z, see, I'm pressing Control Z. And it, of course, undoes the backspace or whatever you have done. So this will be, of course, a correct version. You can put here a colon kind of to separate it. It's just your own style. Any questions? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it real easy? Okay. All right. Yeah, it's not hard. I can tell you. It's just focusing and liking what we do, and then it's gonna go by itself. Yeah. Or, okay, by the way, you notice I can put this number, or not numbers, it's a hash sign, hashtag or hash sign in the beginning of a line, and then it will make it a comment line. It means it won't run it. You see, if you run it, nothing, because you have disabled the print line. If by mistake you do like this, you hide the second line now, well, the last name, it says, I don't know what you mean by last name, because the second line, you made it hidden. And if you put that in hash sign, it will just not look at it. Even if it's there, you see the color becomes gray, it means it's just out. It's there, but this compiler, Python will not look at it. It's just, that's the kind of the how it works. You can uncomment, you see? If you uncomment everything, well, you don't have a program. We can put these things, you can say, this is written by me on September 20th. You can put comments. You can put more lines if you wish. You can write any comments. So we're going to call them comments, and of course, after a while, they're going to see they're important. As your program will grow, you can write, of course, regular English or in any other language. Of course, you can write anything there in any language. Yeah. But of course, in the actual program area, you cannot just write regular English. Right? You cannot write story in there. So anything in the actual program area, it has to be in the Python language, but in the comment area, it can be any spoken language. And that's the beauty of it. Of course, it becomes gray like that, as you see. Of course, it's going to run. But if you remove this, you see, it got confused. Because it says, what are you talking about? It's going to say, unresolved, well, it somewhat understand what is, but the other things doesn't. So just hide it to make life easier. All right. So I know we have I think I talked a bit too much, but even if we don't cover everything, the few slides we can quickly cover next time. But I just want to kind of so we grasp everything really. So assignment operator puts the value of the right-hand side on the left-hand side. Here I have 15. It really says assign 15 to num1. Like the way to read it, of course, is slightly philosophical. Assign 15 to num1. But that's kind of the the very technical way of reading it. Of course, you can say num1 equals 15. Assign sum of num1 and num2 to sum. Or you can say sum num1 and sum2 up and put the result in sum. It's just, of course, I'm trying to be more technical here, but you don't have to be always like that. It's just the right-hand side gets calculated. But here is a formula. You say calculate that formula for me, and whatever the result is, put it on the left-hand side. Always the right comes to left. Left value will not go to the right. So the direction, the order is very important. If it's a number equal to 15, it's not the same as 15 equals num1. 15 equals num1 is an invalid command. If you type it, you're going to get that red syntax error. Syntax error means just fundamentally that line is incorrect. It's a fundamental problem. The program will not run until you have one of those red things. Remember? Like those, red things. If you put a mistake, it won't, you see? If you try to run it, you're going to get, well, it won't run. It's like showstopper. It just won't run. So, for example, here I made this mistake, a name with lots of E's. It's going to say, name is not defined. It's just going to tell you here, it's going to tell you here. Unless you fix those red things, it won't do anything. So, you see, that's why the programming, they have to be precise in a sense. Do you guys have classes right now? Another class? Okay. I don't want to go. I don't like going over time. We have 2 minutes. Oh, well, we're going to finish in 2 minutes, but of course, we'll have a few slides for next time. Updating variables. You say, for example, I have n equal to 14. I can print it. Okay, and then I can say something like this. It says get the current value of n, add 5 to it, store the result back in n. You see, now this part of this stuff looks like different than mathematics, right? I'm sure in mathematics you cannot say. In mathematical world, n is never equal to n plus 5. If you tell that to a mathematician, he or she will get angry. How n is equal to n plus 5? What is the value of that n now? Well, they call it what? They call it inequalities or equality equations, or, of course, my math is getting rusty here because we don't use it too much in programming and software development. But this is updating variables, okay? So n, you see, n is first 14, and then I add 5 to it, and I store it back in n, right? So that back is important. You store it back in itself. Okay. There we go. I'm going to use some of this little whiteboard here. So when we work with variables, what happens inside your computer memory, RAM, it doesn't have any ink. It's just there. It opens a box. It's literally a box in your memory. It's a little space on your physical RAM. When you say equal to 14, it puts 14 there for you. And when you say print, it goes to memory. It's nice to see if, try to print for you whatever that value is. Now you say n equal, then you say the syntax, n plus 5 to be back in. It says, well, you ask me to calculate n plus 5. N is 14, so n plus 5 will be 19. and you say put it back in n, it erases this value, the new value becomes 90. But that's the mechanism that's happening. So from now on, if you say what is n, n is 90. It just changed the box value. That's like we are updating the variables. It's 3 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. We are like 4 slides left, but that's fine. We'll look at them later. Any questions? No? Okay. So see you next week.